What's up, guys? It's your boy Zion. I still sound funny, but we're going to be talking about Destiny. This is another Destiny video. I'm doing a random ass mission. The gameplay really isn't anything special. It's not anything important, and we're live doing this. So, what does Destiny need? It's been argued and it's been thought about by a bunch of people. And the one thing that people keep coming back with that Destiny absolutely needs is more PVE. And I know people are going to sit there and go, what the fuck do you mean it needs more PVE? It has an entire story mode. It has fucking planets filled with missions. It has patrols where you can go out and dick around in an open world environment. And it has raids and prison elders and everything else. What possibly more could you want PVE wise? Now hear me out. Basically, year one has been entirely Crucible. If you think about it in the sense of the entire year one, there started with the launch. There were a few of the Queen's Wrath events. Maybe one, possibly two. I don't remember all the way back to the start of the game to the exact number of how many there were. But you look at the Queen's Wrath events and how everybody loved it. It was an awesome event while it lasted, and it was PvE, and you went and killed things in missions and got the shit. Yeah! So, you had events like that, and then that was quickly replaced by Iron Banner, and it was supposed to be something where it was in rotation with Iron Banner the entire time, and it just never happened. Iron Banner became the newest thing, and for those of you guys new to Destiny, Iron Banner is Crucible, but it's actually where your stats matter. So there's a whole vendor, you can get special gear, special weapons, but your stats matter. Your level matters, the perks on your guns matter, the amount of damage you do matter. So yeah, Iron Banner was cool when it first came out. It had awesome weapons. It became the way to get really good gear besides the raid, and you could actually do things in Iron Banner even if you had never run the raid and get good gear from drops to go ahead and come, and you could actually survive without ever touching a raid simply by doing Iron Banner and running through it and getting good gear. Now, that was a godsend for people like myself who went ahead and had trouble finding groups to raid with at the start of Destiny, and it was something that actually made the game somewhat competitive and made it so I didn't hit a wall, or I should say anyone who couldn't do the raid hit a wall where they were level capped below the level cap. So yeah, Iron Banner was a godsend. It was a lot of fun grinding out. And then they went ahead and came up with a new game type, Trials of Osiris, where it's a game type in which you don't respawn. You go ahead and have to revive your teammate. And it's a 3-player game type, and holy shit. Ow! But yeah, you went ahead and you couldn't go ahead and respawn. You had to wait for your teammates to revive you to go ahead and do it. And it became a way of getting really good gear. But this rolled around with the House of Wolves. Now, with the House of Wolves also rolled around the Prison of Elders. The problem with the Prison of Elders, because we should probably talk about this since it is a PVE event, and most people are going to go ahead and argue with me that the Prison of Elders was a good thing for PvE. And I agree, Prison of Elders was awesome to get. We all wanted an arena type gameplay where you basically fought off hordes of enemies, did things. However, Bungie went about this and you fought waves of enemies in each encounter, and there are, I believe, 4 encounters and a boss. So basically you fought off 3 waves of enemies in each encounter, and you have different objectives throughout the encounters. For example, you can go ahead and dismantle mines, destroy mines, kill influential targets or important targets, and I believe those are all the actual events besides killing enemies and killing mini-bosses that actually mattered. Those were all you can do. That's all the variation in the Prison of Elders, besides burns before they took burns out. Now, of course, there's a random thing like Grounded or Airborne or Icarus or whatever. There's a bunch of things that add variation, as in you can't jump and stuff, but the encounters themselves are just as stale and boring, and they go ahead and leave you wanting more. They go ahead and make you want more. You want to go ahead and have more variation, have something, mix it up, where you could have something in the raid, at least in Crota's raid, where you had RNG moments that were frustrating as hell, but were also, it felt amazing when you overcame RNG moments, when you went ahead and had something thrown at you weren't expecting and you overcame it. Give us something that goes ahead and creates that sense of urgency and makes the prison outers a little bit harder, because as it is now, the Skolas fight is just sit in the back and burn him down with a heavy ammo glitch that you burn him down with the Yallerhorn, same as it was before. There's no variation in Prison of Outers, and I sound like a broken record talking about there's no variation in the Prison of Outers. It gets boring quickly. After you've done it a few times, you don't want to do it. And then the loot is lackluster. So you go ahead and you get loot from it, but the only good loot from it is gear that you want for Crucible. And then you have Trials of Osiris, which is a PVE event that has amazing gear, as opposed to the gear that's given with the Prison of Elders. The Skolas gear in itself is terrible. You can't find the right burns you actually want. And then when you do get a piece of gear, it's outclassed by anything you get from the Trials of Osiris. So it's one of those things we're forced back into Crucible, even though PvE is a crucial part of this game. It's what the game was actually built around, was PvEing and going ahead and doing player versus encounter and fighting random enemies. I like to mob. So this is one of those things where it gets very interesting as to what could they add in the game that brings back that feeling of, holy shit, there's a giant robot by my face. That feeling. Why can't we have more Queen's Wrath events where I'm forced to fight giant robots that are in my face fucking me? Like, why? Why can't we have more Queen's Wrath? If they brought that back, I'd be ecstatic. I'd be more than happy to go ahead and grind out some Queen's Wrath and go ahead and get some Supremacy, some Queen's gear again. That would be awesome. But yeah, Destiny just really, year one is almost over and done with. We still have, I believe, about a month left of year one. But for the most part, it's been a extremely PvP heavy, and that seems to be the focus for year one. So hopefully with year two, PvP makes it into the spotlight, or I shouldn't say PvP, PvE makes it into the spotlight, and they actually bring out some new encounters that go ahead and make it so PvE is actually relevant. Bring out a new raid, bring out things, because as it sits, the Atheon raid was amazing. It was well built. It was absolutely loved by Destiny fans, and it was one of those things that sold the game. It was an amazing part of the game. Everyone wanted to raid and get the best gear. And then the Crota raid came out, and it was kind of a letdown. It was one of those things where you had gear, you had things people wanted that was like a carrot or a stick with a carrot on it, and then you went ahead and introduced this level of RNG that most players did not enjoy inside of their raid. They didn't want their raid to be basically random. They didn't want to have that random chance of actually winning. They wanted to be able to figure something out and go ahead and guarantee it. So bring out a raid like Atheon. I like what I see. In some of their trailers, I've seen the Vault of Glass. So I'm hoping they bring out refreshed versions of their raids in which it has the new fallen enemies, or taken enemies, I should say, in the Taken King. That would be amazing if instead of one raid, we get two re-envisioned ones, and we go ahead and get a brand new one. Or even a PvE event, in my opinion, would be enough. If we got two raids that are now changed because of the Taken enemies, if you had to do Atheon and Crota with Taken enemies and it added that twist and the encounters were different enough, I'd be happy with two reskinned raids that were different than a singular brand new raid, and I'd be happy if they brought back the Queen's Wrath. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. let me know, do you think I'm batshit crazy? Do you think there wasn't shit tons of Crucible, shit tons of PvP events in year 1? Let me know. So thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, a comment, a favorite, and subscribe. And as always, I'll see you guys later. Peace.